Good evening, everyone. This is a meeting of the Leominster School Committee, and it is 6 o'clock. We are at Craig School, and I call this meeting to order. Hirsch will lead us in a pledge of allegiance. And the flag is located right there. Ready, Hirsch?
Yes. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And we have presenters tonight, so we'll take a look at the agenda, and if we have to move them up, we will do so, because I know they're all got to get home and get some homework done. All right. First item on the agenda is public comment. Is there anyone that would like to address the school committee? If so, just step right up to the table here, and your name for the record, please. One more time. One last and lonely time. If not, close this portion of the meeting. We'll move on to communications. Superintendent.
No communications.
And looks for a student report. Hirsch.
It's on.
Yes. So the first term has wrapped up. We are starting our second term. Next week we'll have parent-teacher conferences, Monday and Tuesday. On Monday it will be from 4 p.m. to 9 p.m. and on Tuesday it will be 12 p.m. to 12 p.m.
That's important news.
Thank you.
I wrote a whole paragraph. Important news, I want to hear it.
So,
Go.
all right, so our first term has come to an end. Next week are parent-teacher conferences. Monday will be from 4 p.m. to 8 p.m. and on Tuesday it will be from 12 p.m. to 4 p.m. On the LHS side, the theater production just completed The Wizard of Oz this weekend. It was a fabulous show. There was a lot of turnout, and if you see them, please congratulate them. Sorry. And on the CTI side, we have a long list of announcements. So first, freshmen are participating in their 8th exploratory cycle. They have 4 more cycles until they choose their final shop. Renovations continue at the Habitat Restore building with carpentry and electrical participating. Wrapping up the Habitat house located on 10th Street in Leominster will finish work, which includes carpentry, electrical, and plumbing. Plumbers will also be out in schools to replace water filters. HVAC is doing fall portable AC units to prepare them for next summer. This includes cleaning and recharging systems if necessary. Culinary Arts hosted the Leominster Fitchburg Rotary Club as we prepared for breakfast for the bands, which is on Sunday, November 3rd from 8 a.m. to 11 p.m. at Fitchburg High School in the cafeteria. Please feel free to join them for breakfast. Culinary also hosted the advisory kickoff dinner meeting for all shops on Thursday, October 23rd in Appleseeds. There were a total of 87 representing all our shops. They meet monthly and will meet all together again in January. And another shout out to 2 seniors in CTI. Owen Carlin from BizTech received the Little Award, and John Eckstein from Electrical received the Comer Ford Award. And that is all from LHS and CTI.
I actually sent this up late. Late breaking.
All right, we got a late breaking from LHS. So first, the LHS football unfortunately lost a heartbreaker to St. John's Friday. They will play Fitchburg on Thanksgiving morning at Fitchburg. The cheer team is going to the Nationals after sweeping their entire season, taking first place in every competition. Unified Basketball wrapped up their season Thursday. The marching band and all other fall teams have ended their season, and winter sports registration will now begin. LHS has a lot of charity work going on right now. GIVE has run a clothing drive for Jimmy's Helping Hand. Student Committee is running their annual food can drive right now. We are competing against Fitchburg and will hopefully beat them this year. The Mayor's Youth Council raised money for the Veterans Center and is planning to participate in planting flags at the Winchton Veterans Cemetery in December. And last month, the LHS hosted both the PSATs and SATs in October. And that is all.
Nice job, Art. Yeah, a lot of information. And don't forget the breakfast of the bands. Which is in Pittsburgh this year? or what?
Fitchburg.
So they straightened it out, they put, remember that one year we had the high school on the renovation?
Right.
It was confusing everybody, because it was it was 1 year, Pittsburgh was the game, Leominster was the breakfast, so they straightened it out. Good.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you, any questions? Go ahead. Okay, if not, we'll now move on to the superintendent's report.
Thank you. Let me make sure I have both mics on. So I don't have a lot to add because Hirsch did such a fabulous job, but I'll just add a little commentary. So the report cards went out for middle and high school students on November 6th. If any families have not seen the report card, have not received it, please reach out to your child's school. This Saturday, the Leominster Marching Blue Devils will make a special appearance in America's Hometown Celebration in Plymouth, Massachusetts. This is a very prestigious honor. Our LHS marching band will be joined by bands and drum corps from around the country, and it will be broadcast live on Channel 5, WCVB, November 22nd at 10 a.m. with an encore broadcast on Thanksgiving Day at 9 a.m. Sunday, the 23rd, breakfast for the bands, Fitchburg High School cafeteria from 8 to 11. I've had the pleasure of serving last year, and the food is fabulous. So if you can get there, do that. Early release is next Monday and Tuesday, the 24th and the 25th. Please double check the dismissal times for your child's school if you are not aware of that time. And please reach out to the school and schedule a appointment to speak to your child's teacher. This is a great opportunity to hear how your child is doing in school and all of the progress that they are making in all of the academic and extracurricular areas. We have, as Hirsch mentioned, evening appointments and afternoon appointments, so please reach out to your child's school. Let's see. Leominster Public Schools is closed Wednesday, November 26th through Friday, the 28th for the Thanksgiving break. And I think everything else Hirsch got, so that's it.
Right.
Thank you.
The high school is also going to Quincy, to the parade, and then they're doing our parade the 6th.
That's right.
And the stroll.
That's right. And we have a lot of student groups performing at a lot of the in Leominster events coming up. So please help support all of those events and go out and see what's going on in our community.
All right, thank you. Any questions of the superintendent? All right, if not, we'll now move on to presentation. And the very moment that we've been waiting for, Francis Drake presentation.
The moment we have been waiting for, not because of me. It's because of our young special guests tonight. But I first want to say thank you for joining us once again. It's been a while since we had a meeting here. And so thank you for joining us today. Before I move on, there's some snacks over here if you haven't noticed, so please take advantage of that. But without any further ado, let me just have Mrs. Sweaker, who was instrumental in approaching the students and getting them ready for tonight, that each are gonna do a small portion for your delight. So Mrs. Sweaker.
All right. Thank you so much for being here. We have a couple different student groups that have come out tonight. We have some awesome musicians, and we also have some student readers. Oh, I think you can even go behind it too. Sapna, you can go behind it and around.
Yeah, come on.
You got it.
I want to see that.
See, I know, see their great faces, I agree. So here's some students who are going to share their summer reading projects and some students that are going to perform for us. So we're going to start with our student performers. We have Evangeline on the violin.
What grade is she in and how old is she?
Evangeline's in 5th grade. How old are you, Evangeline? 10 years old.
That's fabulous.
She's awesome. All right, next we have Anna playing the piano for us. Anna is also in 5th grade. Beautiful job. All right, and next we have some readers, who have brought their summer reading projects with them. And this summer, everyone in the district read a similar book in every grade level. And I was really proud of these projects, so I asked them to come and share them with you. That could have been interesting.
Hello, my name is Dylan, and I am in 2nd grade. This summer I read the book Meet Jasmine. For my project, I created a park. I chose this because it is colorful and wonderful. No, kidsful.
Sorry, there's a delay. And now Kim's gonna come on over.
Hello, my name is Kimberly, and I am in 3rd grade. This summer, I read the book 13th Street, Battle of the Bad Breath Bats. For my project, I created a spooky house. I choose this because I could show my creativity. Thank you. Hello, my name is Gustavo. I'm in the 4th grade. This summer reading, I read Omar. For my project, I created a dragon. I chose this because there was a funny page on the book that was about a dragon, about Omar on a dragon going to school.
And next we have Sakna.
Hello, my name is Sakna. I'm in 4th grade. This summer I read the book Planet Omar. For my project, I created a poster. I chose this because I just love writing and drawing. Thank you.
And last we'll have Evelyn share.
Hello, my name is Evelyn, and I am in 5th grade. This summer, I read the first rule of punk. For my project, I created a poster. I chose this because it suits my personality, I like to draw, and I wanted to show off my skills. Thank you.
So thank you so much for supporting these students. We appreciate it.
Maybe the assistant superintendent could get a picture of them all so we could put it in the superintendent's newsletter. She sends out.
Okay.
There are snacks.
Let's go out for a picture. If you want, you guys want my hollow first for a picture.
All right, thank you very much. Parents, you should be very proud. Okay, now we'll do our early childhood presentation.
No, it's good talk.
Oh, Francis Strait. Oh, I thought that was your present. How do you beat
Sure,
that? No, how do you beat that? Are you gonna play the
I was
violin?
going to be the first word to you. I'm going to invite Ms. Phillips over to the center.
You play the violin, so you play something.
I
Piano?
used to play piano, but not a while back.
He's good as click. Thank you.
Well, good evening.
Yes.
Yes, good evening, and yeah, there's no way I'm following that, but I'll try my best. So I just have a few slides for you. I'm gonna go through them fairly quickly unless you have a question. It's never gonna be as entertaining as what you saw, so bear with me. This is just a quick snapshot of our school. Doesn't really change much from year to year, but I always like to include it so you have a fresh idea of kind of what is the makeup of the school. Yeah. If you want a copy of, like, no, I submitted this, I think Chris might have copies of what is shown in the back, if you're gonna follow along that way. So this next slide is just a representation of our progress towards meeting goals as it relates to achievement and growth. And it includes a couple of the categories that it produced by, every year by DESI. In this specific slide is broken down the achievement by math and ELA. As you can see, in terms of all students, the max number of points that we could get in any of those is 4. We met 2, and don't ask me how they calculate that, but it's just a bunch of criteria that they put together and comes up with that sort of progress report. Obviously, the achievement, some room for improvement there, and we, along with our ILT, the instructional leadership team of the school, we are looking at all this data plus some, and deciding how we're going to tackle some of these areas and with very specific steps. Love to share that with you, but I don't think you're gonna want to hear that tonight. So I invite any of you come over anytime. We can sit and go over those. But know that this is data we look at very closely. Same with the growth. As you can see on the growth for ELA, we met 3 out of the 4 points, and math 2 out of the 4. The other piece there that is interesting to point, at the top right, you look at year 2024, year 2025. Year 2024 was not a great year. Obviously, we were rated as 21% compared to year 25. Thank you. Compared to year 2025, which is this past spring, we were rated at 69, which obviously is much better. And then that kind of brings us to that middle number of 50%, because they weigh the last 2 years, I believe, to calculate this. I think Ms. Lorraine can correct me any of this if I make a mistake. So that's that. Interesting also is the part of the lowest performing students, which again is composed with subgroups of students. And interesting enough that we made all points in that category. So again, just interesting data for us to drill down and see what's going well there, and then see how we can improve in the other areas. Our English language proficiency totals, not where we want that to be, obviously, so that's already has started as a point of drilling down and looking at access scores and practices with our teachers and our special ed director. So that'll be ongoing work this year. The next is a snapshot of our iReady results for last year. Last time we met and we were in front of you, we didn't have the results for spring of 2025. I believe we met in February maybe, this past 2025. So the top part is a year ago, 2024, and obviously you want to ideally be green all the way, but it's interesting to note, I'll hold it. It's interesting to note the progression and the level of improvement. This is a snapshot. Obviously, you look at the green, you add the two greens together, you have about 39, what is it? The green. Yeah. And so 29, and that went to 61. So same, we want more green, less red, let's put it that way. So you look at 24, again, you had 27 in the red starting with, down to 13. So again, that good progression. We can always do better, but it's good to see that we're moving in the right direction. Then this is the same picture, but for math. And the next part, I'm going to turn it over real quick to Mrs. Phillips, who some of you, or most of you, should have met her by now. This is my new partner in crime, not so new because she's been with us for quite a while. So she's going to take you through a quick snapshot of our school improvement plan goals for the year 2025-2027. So Mrs. Phillips.
Thank you. So we have three main overarching goals for our school improvement plan for the next 2 years. The first is directed towards our iReady stretch growth. Stretch growth is measured over the course of 2 years for each student, and they are given a measurement that we would like them to grow over those 2 years. So that is really the best measurement for how students are performing individually. So we're taking that, and our goal is that over the next 2 years, we get 55% of the students who are currently in below grade level to meet their stretch growth. So 55% is actually a very ambitious goal because the data from iReady suggests that 25 to 35% meet their stretch goal. So we're aiming for 55 total over the course of 2 years and hoping to break that down over a 2-year span to really see some good growth with our iReady data. And then the next two goals, goal number 2 is on writing proficiency. We've had the privilege of being able to have amazing professional development that's been put on both at the district level and the school level in regards to MCAS writing, and it definitely shows an area of weakness for us. So we're looking to make sure that we can kind of have a really good focus on that writing and see if we can get that area of weakness to improve. So we're looking for our students to increase their writing proficiency through amazing professional development, through PLC groups whenever we can, teachers meeting together to collaborate, analyze student work. They are also doing amazing work with our student samples from last year. So students are working to analyze what they did last year individually and make goals on their own to kind of increase and see so that we, over 2 years, where our grades 3 through 5 MCAS results will grow. And then finally, following the district improvement plans and the district's goals, we're looking to increase student engagement with both peers and adults.
looking for content-specific vocabulary when we enter classrooms, high-level questioning, open-ended questioning, and really getting students to articulate what it is that they're doing within the classroom in an academic manner, and showing us that they are engaged with the curriculum and with each other.
So back to the fun part.
Let me keep going.
Sure.
All right. So finally, just a few key parts to our school that really make it a great place to be. With the help of our PTO and our fabulous staff who gives up almost all of their time for outside events, we have some things coming up. The big one that we invite all of Leominster to come and join is our International Night, which is always an amazing night for the school and for our community. The hallways transform as you walk down and you get to see, we have food from all different places around the world, a lot that come right from our own school, which is an amazing piece. Our own families are able to create and share with our other families what it's like to be from their culture, from their homes, and be able to share those. So this year we're featuring some young local talent. It is Thursday, November 20th, so coming up on Thursday, this Thursday, you're all welcome to join, from 5:30 to 7:15. And that is it. So we thank you for joining us here. And don't forget the snacks, because I don't have to take them all.
Any questions? Any questions?
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Good stuff going on.
Yeah, sure.
So, I'm not sure, when Andres presented the, total points awarded for MCAS, under achievement for all students, they earned 6 points. In 2024, they had 0 points earned. So it is a huge accomplishment that has, occurred in the school under the lowest performing students in English language arts and mathematics. They earned 8 out of 8 points. In 2024, they earned 2 out of 8. So there has been some huge growth here, and I just want to, congratulate you and your staff and your students for that, because it's quite a great achievement.
That's great.
Yes. That's great.
Yes. Thank you. Ciao. I'm sure like page 2, you're going to be able to give us the compressed version.
Okay, good evening, everyone, and thank you for this opportunity to present and provide some updates on early childhood this year. My name is Anne Margaret Mitchell, for those of you that don't know me, and our assistant principal is Mr. Andrew Piniel. And so as you can see, we are the administration for Bennett Preschool, Pre-Street School, and Lincoln Preschool at Francis Drake. We'd like to start off with some updates and providing you with some classroom updates and some additions this year. We have, as many of you had the privilege to tour our wonderful site here at Francis Drake. So Lincoln Preschool is now located here at Francis Drake. The addition of an ABA classroom at Pre-Street. Also an addition of pre-K substantially separate session at Lincoln. An addition of kindergarten substantially separate classroom, and that was last year. We also have some building updates, new gas boiler at Pre-Street, new portable for Lincoln Preschool, a new playground here at Francis Drake for Lincoln Preschool, ages 3 through 5. We have new fencing at Bennett, new fencing coming at Pre-Street. And our current enrollment, we have 154 students at Pre-Street, 124 at Bennett, and 41 students at Lincoln Preschool. The reason for the asterisks are because at Bennett and Lincoln, we have open enrollment, and when students qualify for special education services, they then enroll. So that enrollment does increase throughout the year. So total enrollment to date is 319 students. Our school improvement plan, I won't read the whole mission, as you can see it stated here, but I think one thing we would really like to focus on is we firmly believe that the teacher-student bond stands as one of the most influential relationships in a student's formative years. In our role as early educators, we motivate each child to strive for excellence while imparting resilience in the face of learning and life challenges, thereby facilitating the realization of their utmost potential. And so you will see as a theme in our presentation that building those relationships in the early years is really crucial, and to making our families and students feel welcome. This ties in with our vision, and our staff fosters a nurturing and culturally responsive learning community where every child's curiosity, creativity, and compassion flourish. Through meaningful relationships and inclusive practices, we empower each learner to reach their fullest potential with confidence. And you can see some pictures here of our recent STEAM Day in preschool. We have students exploring pumpkins and investigating what's inside the pumpkin, discovering seeds, doing some fall leaf painting, and also we have some Cookie Monster pictures down at the bottom. In our early childhood school improvement plan, we of course examine our data, and for us it's really important that we look both at iReady data, which is an assessment that looks at both reading and mathematics, and also our DIBELS data to track students' progress along their learning pathways. Our early release days are dedicated to data analysis and data meetings, which is wonderful because we can really meet with our teachers, interventionists, and our staff to look at individual students and track their progress very carefully, and also align interventions as needed. Which leads us to the next point, our data meetings with interventionists, teachers, and members of our ILT, our instructional leadership team. We have tiered support through small group instruction in all of our classrooms. We collaborate with all teachers during mid-year assessments, utilizing benchmark data and analysis protocols to adjust student growth and action plans as needed, which it's really important even at our level to really look at our data and adjust our interventions and instruction in the classroom as needed. Another focus point for us in early childhood is social emotional learning, and one of our goals, of course, is to target that. And the way that we do that is our guidance staff provides weekly lessons using the Second Step program, both at the preschool and kindergarten level. Collaboration of school-wide events to promote and encourage positive relationships among students and staff, where students have the opportunity to interact with peers and staff from other classrooms. And I just want to speak to that. That is something that is really important to us, and that we have our STEAM days both in preschool and in kindergarten. And our students, the teachers stay in the classrooms, the students travel classroom to classroom, so it's really their first opportunity to get to know the other staff in the building. And it really promotes a sense of community amongst our schools. The next day, students are saying, "Oh, hi, Mrs. So-and-so, we were in your classroom yesterday." And I think it's a second level to not only building that community, but to ensuring safety in our schools, because our students are young. And, in case of an emergency, it is great for them to know all of the staff in our building, to feel very comfortable with them. And that is another way that we achieve that. Our classroom teachers also use a variety of check-ins when students enter the classroom, using specialized greetings, which students get to choose daily. And that's another important aspect. Teachers can really read the thermometer on a child and how they're feeling for that day by the greetings that they choose to do, or maybe they don't want to do one for that day. And so it really helps teachers to check in with students daily. And then we have the Pals of the Month. Mr. Pinio is going to talk a little bit about Pals of the Month.
So our Pals of the Month are part of our SEL. Every day, any staff member can hand out a PAL ticket for our positive accountable learners. whether they see them doing their work, being kind to others, following the rules. And then each Friday, the guidance counselor will give a prize out to 4 members from each classroom. Each month, we pick one pal of the month, and those are our pals of the month for October. They each got to pick a prize. They get their picture in our newsletter, and they get to bring their certificate home to their parents. This has come a long way since we first started. When I was teaching, probably 19 years ago, I think it started. They really look forward to those PAL tickets, and they know that any staff member can give them to them, even our custodians. So they're always, hey, did you see me pick up that trash? Yep. So this has come a long way, and it leads them to get ready for first grade, where they have different expectations for each of the different schools.
Thank you. And then the next slide, we just wanted to share, since our students are younger and it's a little bit hard for them to come out in the evening, we wanted to share some of the exciting things that are happening. And these are some pictures from our STEAM day at both preschool and kindergarten, where students were exploring the density of pumpkins using catapults. Our preschoolers were sampling different types of apples and graphing what their favorite one was. We also had a wonderful visit from the Leominster fire truck with all of the firefighters who came out, and our students did stations around the fire truck. They became very familiar with it, and so that's really a big piece, because oftentimes when the firefighters do come, it's a loud alarm and they're trying to get out of the building. So this is a really nice way for our students to get to know what firefighters do and how they keep us safe. And of course, we continue our commitment to excellent instruction with a focus on Standard 2, the teacher evaluation rubric. And these are some ways that we achieve this in early childhood by differentiating instruction, creating a safe, nurturing environment where routines and visuals and positive guidance help children to feel secure and ready to learn. We build strong relationships with students and families to better understand each child's strengths, needs, and cultural context. We have walkthrough schedules, so both district-wide walkthroughs with administrators and content specialists, as well as building-based walkthroughs. We utilize our content specialists for classroom support, and PLC, those are our professional learning communities that happen weekly in our schools, where teachers can discuss any topic, study student work, and we really use our content specialists during that time as well. Attendance matters, and it is always a goal, as in the Leominster Public Schools, to reduce chronic absenteeism. We build those foundations in early childhood. So we like to, again, focus on our social emotional learning of our students by specialized greetings. We also use school-wide incentives to improve attendance outcomes for students with perfect attendance, with recognition monthly at the kindergarten level. And we have some community partners who provide some little certificates and gift cards for our young students, so they get really excited about that. And this is just a history of some of our attendance data going back to 23-24, and you can see an improvement each year. Currently, our attendance rate to date is 95.3%, and we hope to keep it there and higher. Some data highlights. We're looking at the DIVLs here, so our end of the year goal is always above 80%, that we want our students to achieve core and above core. And so 24-25, you can see that students started at 33%. And by the end of the year, 83% of our students were core and above, which is a great accomplishment. And then this year, our beginning of the year benchmark was at 27% of students at core and above. So we hope to work very hard to help our students achieve that above 80% goal. iReady is another assessment that we use for both reading and mathematics. It's a more comprehensive test. It's taken online. And we just wanted to mention that we were recognized for notable growth for our EL students in math. 69% of our EL students met their stretch goal, which is beyond the regular goal. This is a stretch goal beyond that. So we're considered a super school for that. And then Mr. Pineo is going to share some upcoming events.
All right, so next Tuesday, we're gonna have our turkey trot. One of our teachers is running in the Boston Marathon for Teddy Bruschi's team. Last year, she ran for Chris Herron. So on Tuesday, we're gonna go across the street to Doyle and do our own little turkey trot. You guys can all come. You might see someone in a turkey outfit that likes to sing. We'll have to save that. And then I think in January, February, I don't remember exactly when, we have our polar plunge, which the upstairs at Free Street is the North Pole with all of the polar bears and all of those things, and the bottom floor is our South Pole. So the students rotate through each classroom. We have, if you look at the bottom right, our new gigantic igloo that we have. We don't have to put it together using our milk cartons like we did for the first 15 years. That took a long time, a lot of hot glue guns and a lot of frustrations with some of the teachers. So we do have that, which was amazing last year. We also have our Winter Wonderland in pre-K, which they have their own STEAM day, where they play with snow and do all of those fun things. I think our biggest one is our Dino Dig, our Dino Romp. We have that indoors and outdoors. I think this year I'm going to send Ann Margaret to Adams Farm in Athol to the slaughterhouse to grab the bones. Jim Riley used to make me have to go there. But they like that, and I think we have to find a new spot this year. Last year we weren't able to dig and hide our bones because of the new playground. But the students love that part. There's some big bones, there's jaws with teeth on them. They dig them in the site. And then I bring them to the museum to have them displayed there. We also have our water day for Lincoln and Bennett in the spring. And then every Memorial Day we have our walkathon, where we go over to Doyle, we walk around the football field with patriotic songs. The kids have their hats on that they make. We have streamers. It's a really fun day. And then we end it all with our field day. And all of these, we have a lot of volunteers, parent volunteers, a lot of people from downtown come. It's a great time. So if you guys want to come, these will be added to the public calendar. So you guys can come. It's a great time.
Thank you, Mr. Pineo, and thank you for this opportunity tonight. If there's any questions, we'd be happy to answer them.
So I think next year, which is only a month and a half away, we have a really unique opportunity. We have a strategic plan that's coming. We have our school improvement plans. We'll be developing the budget. And as we develop the budget, we'll be setting goals. And so I think it's important that we really spend our time with each school setting specific, achievable goals. So that way, it just seems like this spinning wheel where we're evaluating goals after the goals were set, but I don't know what they were, and it just seems like we're spending a whole lot of time on that. The budget should drive the mission, right? I mean, what is the mission? You did a good job sort of explaining it, but I think we have a really unique opportunity next calendar year. The whole strategic plan is underway, and we won't have the results, but we'll have them, I think, at some point. But that's a real opportunity to set real specific goals and achievable goals. Not, we're going to go from 30 to 99%, but real achievable goals. And then, that the budget moves that process, and then we get to actually evaluate how did we do, and then what went well and what didn't, and that gives us yet another opportunity to sort of refine that, and maybe we're off by 5% or whatever, but I think that's probably the most unique opportunity, and the school committee had a couple of opportunities like that we worked on, whether it was getting equity into the schools or getting the students to be at third grade level, by the third grade, whatever it might be. And I think our greatest success was putting actual numbers and tying to the actual goal. Here's the goal, as you did in your attendance. And sometimes you can't meet a goal, but come close to it. But I think in every category, we have to have goals. And I think the budget drives the goals. So When do you think the strategic plan, I saw the kind of breakdown and stuff.
So the strategic plan won't be completed till the spring, but every school principal provides a budget request to the plan. They did it last year in January, and it's tied to their school plan. So every request they make,
Thank you. Every request they make for financial support to the school is tied to their school improvement goal, which has goals that have been really benchmarks that they're striving for the end of the year. And so what we can do is at the budget presentation, share what their goals are and how they've requested funding to support those goals, which I don't know that we've done recently when we present the budget. We've presented it as a whole.
Right.
And so I think we would be able to provide a snapshot of each school's
Status.
status,
Right now.
what their school, what their goals are in their school improvement plan, and then how financially we're supporting them.
But I do think the strategic plan is pretty important. I mean, even if it's that draft form.
We will have a
Before
draft.
the budget gets passed, otherwise we're a whole calendar fiscal year off.
We will have a draft of the indicators, they just might not be completely built out.
Or at least an idea of what they are, an overall, certainly.
I believe March is where we were striving for the draft of the goals, which would give us enough opportunity to explain them and how they're connected to our overall budget.
And then I think the process works because we're setting the goals. As part of the budget, we get a chance to actually look and see how we did. And again, but we're achievable, you know. Sometimes we get over excited and aggressive about meeting your goal, and sometimes you meet it, sometimes you don't, but.
Well, sometimes I think the situation does dictate an aggressive goal, and I think that's where we can be helpful in the sense of how do we, we have an aggressive goal here, there's a reason why. How do we as a school committee can support that in terms of funding, in terms of resources, materials, or people?
To help them get there.
Right, exactly. I love the example that you brought up, which is, we want more parental engagement. Well, maybe we can throw some money to make more exciting events. So we had this really great idea where we think more parents and kids will come to. That's a great way of supporting some of that stuff.
All right, nice job. Any other
Yeah,
questions?
thank you.
Thank you.
Ronza.
Caps Collaborative?
No,
That's Sandy.
Okay.
Massachusetts.
Let me refer back to my high-tech.
No, I don't know what Ronza for.
The Massachusetts workshops.
Oh,
Seeing everything on my phone.
Conference.
Oh, yeah.
well, yeah, Sandy's not up.
Yeah, that's.
How'd it go, Mr. Ron, at the Mass Association of School Committee Conference?
There was the Mass Association that was held last week, Wednesday to Friday. And I attended, I went to.
Keep it closer. There you go.
I went to nine classes. It was very, I could say, intensive. A lot of it was anecdotal. The big thing was that, everybody's worried about what's coming down the pike in terms for teaching or in terms of what the teachers are expecting. The hardest part was where it is, the hardest part was that there was some, as compared to last year and the year before, the classes on Wednesday, there wasn't, I got there around 1:00, 1:30, and I missed some of them, and then I hit them, and I came to the one with the built a stronger together, from 325 to 430, and they're like I said, they were very helpful. It's just sometimes I wish that the classes that they gave, I wish they could repeat them, so that way they have more people going to them. The hardest part for me was to, I've got the stuff on my cell phone, the classes, and I talked with the superintendent and also Eileen. We have the stuff on here, and I'm hoping we're gonna try and find a way to get all this information, the classes and the seminar, sent to everyone here. So that way you can look at them.
If you send it all to me, I'll copy
Well, the thing it is, like I said to the superintendent, I spoke to her this morning, and you must have a way to put it on the computer so you can lash it around.
Right, she'll do that for you.
Yeah, we'll figure it out. Come and see me and I'll print out the screen or whatever, then I can send it around.
Because she has that.
Okay,
It's called-
I'll work with Chris.
Yeah. And because I just feel that there was a lot of information, it would help to be able to disseminate a little bit more. Can it help? Yes, it can help. One of the bigger classes some classes they had, it was packed with people. The big one that I went to, was the one on athletic trainers, and it was illuminating. 'Cause yes, I am an RN, and yes, I do take care of the athletes as they're running, and athleticism, being hurt, injuries. It covers a whole area, and it governs our behaviors. It governs the behaviors of all the kids and the teachers in school. And this was just one of many classes that they have. And I just, it was good. I enjoyed it very much. On Thursday, I attended the vital role of construction craft laborers, from 7:45 to 8:30. I got there just exactly at 8 o'clock. And they're talking about how they're trying to renovate the rolling out of construction companies. And I went to one about a month ago, and nothing is etched in stone. And they're trying very hard. They talked about the different organizations that they're trying to put together, and then breaking the spell of high conflict.
Ron, what is this, sort of the
Yeah, do you wanna-
overall, are they worried about funding down the road?
Well, it's
Are
not
they
so
worried
much,
about
it's funding.
budget cuts?
Budget cuts, but they were saying in one instance, they were giving and I always hear the same example. They said that, the cosmeticians, the hairdressers, they're afraid that the hairdressers might have too many hairdressers. What's the word? Cosmetology. They're afraid that maybe they'll have too many in one school district and not enough in another district. And they said that's like a lead point to a lot of other classes. Plumbers, electricians, that's just and then they kept on saying that, not everybody goes to college, they need these industrial arts. But when you pick them to try to give us more information, it wasn't there. They just kept on giving you different stories. But they said that's where they're at. They're having a lot of difficulties. And you said about monies or funding, they keep on saying that, yes, they're good, they have the monies, but they have to really dig at it. And it's unfortunately.
Like for instance, Ron, the millionaire's tax was something that was kind of pushed, education. Are they satisfied with the amount of money?
No, they're not satisfied with it because
I'm trying to get to.
it's not.
Yeah, if you want to pass the mic.
Yeah,
Talk a little bit about that, because I think the expectations, I remember the meeting well. The expectations here were.
Yeah.
that
I mean-
the bulk of this would be on.
Sure. I think, the overall, right, the overall, sort of tenor of the conference was really around conflicts and really thinking outside the box to, get the results that you want and not sort of doing things the typical way. Clearly funding was a huge issue. There's a lot of concerns. The Perkins grant looks like it's going to be positive and in good standing. However, Head Start and funding for Head Start after January 30th is going to be something that people need to pay attention to. But there's, sort of a concern that certain folks are trying to get rid of Head Start altogether. Title I, there's $288 million loss. There's a $60 million loss in rural funding for districts right here in Massachusetts, which obviously doesn't impact us, but it's just sort of the tenor of, the special education cost has risen 42% over the last 3 years. So again, there was just a lot of talk. The millionaire's tax was not necessarily always going to exactly where they thought it would be going, and so they are trying to take a look at that and advocate for it to come back to the school systems. There was also a lot of conferences, workshops on AI and how that impacts learning and policies around that, and how to use it effectively both as students and as teachers, educators. So that was certainly one of the tenets. And the other thing that they really talked about through a lot of the different workshops were knowing the students well and really forming that connection with a trusted, staff member. So whether, the teacher or, guidance counselor or whoever in the school, is connected to the child, and that's going to help with learning and absenteeism, et cetera. There's some districts that were having navigators, but more like, mentors or coaches to really help students, and not only the students that are struggling, but taking cross sections of kids, in the middle range as well as the upper range of, educational functioning to really help and support, people at all different levels. So that's kind of, I think, just the general tenor that people were really worried about finances in general and what's going on, kind of globally in the United States, and how that's going to impact Massachusetts and how we really need to be thinking outside the box. Yeah.
They said it, yeah.
Yeah, there was a significant amount on AI. I went to a couple of sessions around how we would be regulating our heating systems potentially in the future, using AI to be as energy efficient as possible. I will mention that I did go to the vocational session, and they were pretty clear there was a large amount of money that was set aside from the millionaire's tax for CTE programs to apply for grants. We did apply for a grant for over $1 million to expand our programming. They said that there were over 30 applications from CTE programs that were received for this grant funding, and that they would never be able to, with the money allocated, meet the needs of all of the grants. So we will keep our fingers crossed that potentially we receive it, but it does sound like it's going to be very, very competitive for that money.
If I might add to that, Robin, I was speaking with Tom Brown the other day, who's the superintendent at Wyoming Tech, because the parents of one of our 8th grade students approached me because the child wants to get involved
In cosmetology.
And it's very limited in terms of the way that they're choosing the students now, because as Tom said, with the numbers of students he has and they need to work with those students first. So the chances of this child from here being accepted into the cosmetology program at Monty Tech are very, very slim. They don't have the openings, and their obligation is first to those schools. And even though we do not have a cosmetology program, he said that they're also saving spaces for the upperclassmen at Monty Tech, the juniors and the seniors who may want to get into certain programs. So, I mean, our child was told to apply and wait, but there are so many people waiting, so many students who want to get into these programs, and there just aren't enough openings.
I know they're revamping the way they're doing the lottery for the people in district to make it more equitable amongst the towns, and I know that's.
They are. It's a big issue because we can't. You know.
They're trying very hard to eliminate the lottery, because with the lottery it comes out to it marginalizes people, whether they like it or not. You know, it's like getting a lottery ticket to school this afternoon. You know, what are the odds you're going to win the ticket? Slim and none. When you're going to school, when you are going to school, you want to learn something, or you hope to learn something. Be told that you're put on a lottery. That's like, what the heck? It's like going to school and learning the alphabet. The only way you're going to learn the alphabet is going a lottery.
Yeah.
So you won't know all your ABCs.
So what I would say, to the rest of the committee, that there's a lot of good information out there and a lot of networking and connections with other school committees. So I would strongly urge people to try to fit it into their schedule next year. It's going to be, I think, what we decided, it was the 4th, 5th, and 6th or something. In Danvers, it'll be a change of venue. It's always been at the Cave, and they're changing the venue. So it's just going to be really important for people to get involved. And I know I keep harping on that every year, but it is something that, we can benefit from. So more people will go other than just Ron and myself.
Just a busy time of year.
It is.
What happened in January, February? I mean, Harris meetings are in January.
Why not be a little equitable, put it in central Massachusetts, talk about
Or somewhere east of, west of Boston, or that metropolitan.
The only thing
Yeah.
I want to the only thing that I'm going to add to this is, I guess, they make the conferences, you have to go the microphone. But my pet peeve is, in this day and age, why can't they just Zoom it? Would more people go or attend the conferences if they Zoomed them?
You could make it a podcast or make it a video, so it's shared in.
Because I complained already at one of the classes we had. I really wanted to be able to listen to it and go back and listen to it on my free time. I said, why can't you put this on a podcast instead of us trying to write down everything you're saying, Or if they Zoomed it, it'd be so much easier. That's all.
They did during COVID, but it was hard because people would not. You couldn't.
Right.
Yeah, it didn't
Yeah, but
work
the
well.
presentation-
We tried to do it virtually, and it was a struggle. So
But
we
in
really
this-
need to be there.
But if
In
you
this-
do somebody that's doing the presentation on what is the future of, technical education, how does it integrate with artificial intelligence? Well, what is the future of artificial intelligence? What is the future? What is it? Where is the funding going? So somebody takes and looks at the million tax and says, this is where it's going, K through 12, higher education, construction, MassDOT gets a chunk of it for, bridges and highway. And here's where we continue to see, also, by the way, we're not taking in as much money as we thought, or the prediction is that we'll lose 5% of the millionaires in the next 10 years. That's easy. The presenter is easy to do a podcast or so I can just watch it any time of day or night. So, I mean, that's just allowing more people who can't make it to their November meetings, because it's a busy time of the year. to be able to watch it, but I can't watch it because none of it's.
Yeah, that's the right.
Okay, I mean, I think we just, I mean, I figured that's exactly where,
Yeah.
most of it's going. Look at, vocational education is not new to us in terms of the demand for it. It's just the rest of the state's catching on and they think they can just take and move that ship and spin it around completely, and it's gonna take time to be able to do that. We had our eye on it when manufacturers couldn't find mold makers for their manufacturing businesses. They stepped up and created a program at CTE, right? I mean, that's how it got done. So it's a partnership with business, but we knew this stuff long ago. It's just trying to get the attention of the so-called knowledgeable elite who are guiding us, and we can fight it all day long. I mean, Mary Gardner's been talking about the inequities of what, how kids get into Monty Tech.
Right, that's
Kids
been going
that
on for
aren't
years.
even gonna go on to use this are gonna, nothing against Monty Tech, it's a great school, but kids that were going to the program, I know, it's like, oh, great, I can change my plugs in my house to GFIs, but they had no interest in continue on with it. And so there've been efforts to kind of turn this ship around and move it in forward direction, but there just wasn't the appetite for it. And now here we are, where all of a sudden everyone's like, yeah, you don't have to go to college anymore, you can actually make more money as a plumber. Well, it didn't take long to figure that one out. It's exactly what we've been trying to do.
The devil's always in the details.
Well, it takes too long to get the message to certain groups. And that's the problem, is we get it, and trying to convince them is not always the easiest thing, so.
And you're right, it does take too long, and the problem is, you hit it, it takes too long to accomplish something. You see something, you'd like to do it, but then you're told, well, it's gonna take this, and by the time you're going through this, the person loses interest.
Exactly.
That's right.
And once they start losing interest, where do they go? What do they do? How do they keep their mind occupied?
Well, thank you for the reports. We'll follow up, obviously, on this, and when they do have other, I guess, seminars or whatever, we'll try to get people to attend, and we can advocate that Central Mass, I guess. All right, thank you. And we'll now move on to CAPS, curriculum.
Curriculum presentation. I'd like to see this.
I don't know. These little words.
Good evening, everyone. That's loud. We're going to be presenting some information to you tonight, a little background information on our high-quality instructional materials, and then some more specific information from our LHS and CTEI administrators regarding the programs that we have currently at those schools. So just as a little bit of background, this probably seems pretty self-evident to everyone, but we really focus on what we call the instructional core. And research shows that our students learn primarily through their interactions, obviously, with teachers and content. We have great students here in Leominster, and we have highly qualified teachers and staff as well. So the last few years, we've been focusing on the content and the materials that the teachers will be using and that the students will get to engage in. And that's where the high quality instructional materials come into play. So we have
teachers who've been selecting curriculum materials as teams. And then, as you'll hear from Josh and from Renee, the teachers have been supporting each other, and the administrators have put a lot of plans in place for them to be successful or more successful with their students. So what is high quality instructional materials? We've heard that HQIM all the time. They are by content area, so we have them in ELA, we have them in mathematics, we have some in science, and now we're moving to some that we have identified in social studies as well. We have some that are for our EL students and their instruction. So they're comprehensive, they're externally validated. So there is a program at the national level that's actually called Ed Reports. And they're a think tank and a research group that goes through all of the curriculum materials. Any publisher that wants to, at this point, have a product vetted and then put on the market and have any chance at all of being able to have it be selected goes through the Ed Reports national process. Massachusetts has also done their own piece, as Massachusetts will do, and that's called, the acronym for that is Curate. So we have information from both Ed Reports and from Curate to help our teachers make the decisions that they do. They include engaging texts in ELA and in social studies, great problem sets in both mathematics and in science, and then they provide us with assessments that are already created and vetted that can be used for just-in-time assessments by our teachers, and then also as interim assessments. So you'd heard earlier about how we use iReady. You also know, because we come every year to talk to you about MCAS, those are big level benchmark and end of year assessments. The assessments that are part of these high quality instructional materials are as specific as a ticket to leave at the end of one class, or an end of the unit assessment, or a beginning of the year to see where students are. So we are using those as well. Tell you a little bit about the selection process that we use here in Leominster. It was produced and supported by the Department of Education. It's called Implement Mass, or Implement Massachusetts. There are 4 stages of it. The first is called Learn and Prepare. That's where we establish teacher teams and a local lens. So our vision, we have a vision for exemplary ELA instruction across the district, exemplary mathematics and science and social studies. These teacher teams then go through the next phases of the process, which include investigating. That's narrowing choices down from the many products that they might have out there, and determining what would work best here in Leominster with our students. The launch, which is planning for implementing. So the teachers get together, they talk about what they're going to need, what we need to purchase as materials, what our timeline and expectations are, and then what we're going to be providing or requiring for professional development. And then the last piece is implement and monitor. And we have been working very hard here in Leominster, so we're basically at that implement and monitor level for almost all of the materials that we have in place. Thanks, Renee. And just to tell you how far we've come, we have these materials in elementary, ELA, and mathematics, K-5. At the middle school, we have them in all 4 major content areas. And at the high school, we have ELA for grades 9 and 10, math for what we call algebra, geometry, and algebra 2. We have a science program that is in its second year in grade 9, and US history is also in its second year for grades 9 and grade 10. So we have a very comprehensive set of materials that we're using. There were some questions earlier this year about products that we were using at the high school level, so that's
Josh and Renee have come in to talk about it. The most important thing that I want to leave you all with is that the teacher teams that determine these materials are just that. They're teacher teams. So I don't get a vote. I get to facilitate their team. I get to help them through the entire process. I get them materials that they need. I get them publishers to come out and speak to them. I get them professional development where they've asked for it. But the teams of teachers at each grade level or grade span and content are the ones that have chosen the materials that we are currently using. Josh?
All right, I will take it. So, Renee takes care and supports, this is loud. So, by the way, when you hand me a microphone, like typically it's for karaoke. I just watched the Elvis movie over the weekend, so exercise some self-control.
On your way home, I know you live in a rural area, so just pull the car over to the side.
I have the hybrid that, the engine is quiet, so everybody can hear me when I'm singing in the car. It's even better. So, like
Sing to the mountains.
Yes, sir. Like Lorene said, she kind of supports the teachers through the selection process, and then it starts to get handed over to me a little bit with the implementation of it. And again, most of these curriculums have been in place for a few years, and so they're kind of past that point of trying it out with full fidelity, and now they're sort of owning it and making it their own. And so they're able to take that curriculum as the basis for what they're doing and make minor shifts that they need to support students. So, and we're in that point with most of the curriculum. So the benefit that we get from them is that it's a lot of support that we get for our students and for our teachers with this. So one thing that they support is they support our PLCs. And Margaret mentioned earlier the professional learning communities that she has. We have at the high school as well. They meet every 7 days, and they're arranged by core courses. So all the ELA 9 teachers get together every 7 days. ELA 10, algebra, biology. There's 21 of them now, I think. So, and those HQIMs help to keep all of those students on the same pace, with the same expectations and the same level of rigor. So it's not a question of, this teacher feels like teaching this book that's maybe better for 7th graders, but they feel like teaching it. That's not really an option anymore. And we use the assessments that Lorene had mentioned. Those assessments are used as a lot of our common benchmark assessments. So about every term or so, we go through a data cycle where we give a common assessment that measures where students are. We identify whatever gaps that they have, and then we can make a plan to address those gaps. And we use a lot of the support that we get from our partners with those curriculum. We use those folks to help out with that. They also support our walkthroughs. If I say learning walks, I mean the same thing. Those are groups of educators. It's like rounds that doctors do at hospitals, but they're teachers. A group of educators go to a series of classrooms and they observe what's going on, and they're looking for a key aspect of teaching. It might be collaboration or questions or rigor. Those HQIMs help to give us a common expectation of what students should be doing, and then some common language to discuss it. And typically now when we do a walkthrough, if we go to C4 ELA 9 rooms, everybody's within 1 or 2 lessons from each other. They're all about in the same place, and that makes it easier for them to share resources, to develop lessons together. A lot of their PLC work is just everybody brings their best idea for teaching some aspect of what they're trying to help students learn, and they put it all together into either a series of resources or one much better lesson through like a tuning protocol that benefits all the students. So you have 5 or 6 minds building up a great lesson instead of just one. And I would say that with those practices, I think that instruction at LHS, and I'm a little biased, but I would say that our instruction has probably never been more engaging and more rigorous. Every year for those learning walks, we set a new set of expectations of things that we're looking for. So 2 years ago, we were building up teacher strategies for student collaboration. And last year it was total participation techniques. The students are doing more talking than the teachers. And this year we're looking at critical thinking and students having the ownership and doing the heavy lifting in the class, and connecting what students are learning to either their previous lessons that they learned or previous years, or to their own lived experiences. So every year we've been raising the expectations for what instruction looks like. And I think that, again, I think instruction's never been better at Leominster High School. So our MCAS scores aren't a reflection of curriculum, instruction, assessment, or student support. I think it's a messaging issue. When the vote was passed, we went a little too far with telling students, don't worry about it, the test doesn't count, And I'm sure, because it came from a good place, we worried about how much students stressed over MCAS. I'm sure that when you guys casted your votes in the election, you were considering student stress regardless of how you voted in that. And so I think what we actually have is messaging problems. Like I need to get coached by my brother, the beer salesman, on how to better message for students to do better on that test. But the student report card, or the school report card that we saw, it showed that our MCAS scores dropped, but it also showed that our ESL scores have never been higher, and that our AP participation and honors coursework has never been higher. Those two things don't go together. If our instruction is not good, then how can we have twice as many kids taking AP language and composition? If our instruction isn't quality, then how is it that we have so many juniors taking AP Calculus, AB, that we're looking to add Calc BC for next year, the next level? That we have so many more kids doubling up on math. If our curriculum's not good, then how are students able to do that? So how are we now offering every science project lead the way pathway if our science curriculum isn't well thought through? Those things don't match. I think what it actually shows is that students are prioritizing the things that they care about. They don't care about MCAS, and we went a little too far saying don't worry about it. But our curriculum is solid, or kids wouldn't be making these achievements that they're making. So, there's sort of, maybe it shows the weakness of our messaging and maybe the weakness of using MCAS scores to evaluate schools now. So, in terms of content support, we get a lot of support from those publishers. Oh, I'm sorry, Dean, go ahead, yes.
So I think that's what we're looking for. If we're teaching to the MCAS, because the theory was, hey, the worst thing that can happen here is somebody passes MCAS and the contents of the MCAS. So I get what you're saying, and it's hypothetically 25 years of my 32 years here has been exactly what you're saying. So where are those numbers? Where do we get that data that says, look, put the MCAS aside, because what we're doing here is giving us better results.
Yeah, that's also in our school report card. Our access scores are in there, and
That's what
advanced coursework scores are in there too.
That's what I think we need to see. The MCAS is something the state's trying to, I get the whole thing. And they understand it better than anyone, right? AI is a diagnostic tool. It's not gonna teach. It's not gonna replace a teacher. But if I'm a business owner and I'm marketing the new F-150, the electric truck, I know exactly where my customers are. I know if they watch 60 Minutes at 7 o'clock. I know what kind of beer they drink. I know what kind of food they drink. I know everything. So I can aid my resources, right? So on the diagnostic approach, if a student gets caught up somewhere, I have to, this technology isn't new. It's used every day in business. I retool my message to that student because I know that student's not learning that way because every one of us learns differently. So I come back at it a different way than I would you or Ron or me or Eileen or someone else. So that at the end of the day, we reach the same goal, but we got there differently because we learned differently. And so the diagnostic part of this here has to be, I'm hung up. Not all 30 kids in the class are hung up, and we're not all hung up at the same time on the same thing. And that's where I don't understand the amount of money that we're putting towards these things and the results that we're getting. Somewhere along the line, there's a
I guess it depends on the results you're looking for. So if we're looking at like students taking advanced coursework and things like that, we're killing it.
Okay.
And I know with MCAS.
We've always been that school where it's public education and just as good as going to private school. But that's a small population of the school. What I'm saying is, take any student, and if we're going by this, then we should be able to measure those results. That's the data that I want to see overall. So, do we have that data?
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, that's what you're saying is great. I want to see, I want to see that's working somewhere by looking, saying, okay, right, take a young person, ask them about math. That math equation's in here. You just yell it out or think it almost, and it'll give you the answer. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to spend 14 hours to come up with some system here that's going to tell me the same answer if I spend 4 seconds. But I'll spend the other hour, on something I'm really interested in. That my phone, I don't care if the phone gives me the answer or not. So where are those results?
So I think the data that we look at in our PLCs, or the teachers look at, are the units, it could be the quick take, so maybe that's the data that we need to share in January.
Yes, I agree.
Like, it's almost like an iReady, but they're diagnostics for those units. So I think we can show that, because that's where that growth is, and that's where we see our students in the high school level definitely improving
I'm more,
in that piece. You
I'm
want
more
the everyday
concerned
stuff.
and interested in that
I know
than in
you are.
the MCAS.
I get it.
That's just a badge of honor, and it's like, oh, like, student, at least if they learn, that's the worst. What's the worst thing you're gonna have to pass the MCAT? No, I wanna see that all of this that we're doing here produces results. And it's gonna be different for each kid. I mean, can we all agree every kid learns differently? All of us learn differently, right? It took us so long to realize 5 deep, 5 cross. We just, it's an
We
old
have that
method.
information.
Hasn't
We can
worked in a
definitely
long
have
time.
it. Yes.
He hit on something. You were saying about, in regarding why are the kids doing the AP, so many are doing the AP versus there was another part that they weren't doing?
Versus the MCAS scores, or?
You were saying something about how come the kids, they're flocking for advanced placement and
We
whatever.
need more of it, you said.
Huh?
You're doing so well, we need more of it.
Right, but
What's the success? Why?
what's the success rate? But you were also saying it looked like there was a fall off.
So the
Oh.
MCAS scores had
Yeah.
dropped a little is where it is, but they don't feel that that is
A good measure.
indicative, a good measure of where students are.
But he was
Because
saying
students
the kids that were going for the AP class.
A killing, yeah.
Yeah.
They're doing great.
But, there's a terrible word, but. When they were taking their regular classes, they weren't paying attention.
Well, no. they're-
No, I think they were. They wouldn't be successful with
I'm
AP.
not making this up.
No,
Yeah.
that's what he said.
What he said.
No, that's not what I meant at all. So they wouldn't be successful at Calc AP if they hadn't done well with algebra and geometry and algebra 2 and everything leading up to it. Yeah, those foundations. So,
But what they're
if-
saying is they're not paying as much attention to the MCAS.
right, they don't see the value in MCAS now because to them it doesn't count. Unfortunately, it does count for the school, and we didn't message that to the students well. We kept telling them, don't worry about this, it doesn't count, it's not a big deal. Well, they took that a little too far, and I think too many of them didn't put the effort into it that they would have put into just Mr. Percival's Algebra 1 exam.
Josh?
So,
my question, kind of a few questions here. So number one, I'd requested an analysis of that 10th grade curriculum back in September.
Mhm.
Is this an answer to that? Is this like are we speaking to that here?
Yes, we are.
Okay, so one of the most important pieces in mathematics is that you have to show your work. We're looking for the data, not the statements or the broad statements that, well, they must have done well. Because
So I believe, if I may, that the mayor just said the same thing. And that we will certainly bring the benchmark assessment data from 9th grade, 10th grade, and 11th grade in AgileMind. And we can bring those to you when they do take that mid-year assessment.
So this is my question, my larger question is, how long does it take to get data, to look at classes? Like you're saying implementation year, learn and investigate, I get all that. You're gonna
So
roll it out.
we
Is
started
it in
the
one
very
or two
first
years?
year, we, Josh and put in the PLCs so that the teachers could take time to look at that data. And one of the things that they asked for was additional professional development, which Josh was able to get for them in order to make it more successful. So they have been looking at that data. And I apologize if we haven't been bringing that to this table.
This is what we asked for in September. That data that they're looking at, that's what we asked for.
That may be
We didn't ask for this broad presentation.
I apologize if
We
I'm
asked for that specific data.
I thought I'd heard what you had asked for, and so I would certainly bring what you have asked for, and I can do that in January.
Sandy?
Sandy?
Well, just give us the data from the last
It's the data that they're looking at to make their decisions in real time. If they haven't, you can see it, we should be able to see it.
All right, hold on. Sandy has it.
Raw
Go
other
ahead.
data. It doesn't have to be, buffed.
Okay,
Sandy.
I agree.
how long,
I
thank
agree.
you, how long
That's
does
all I'm
it
looking for.
usually?
Hold on.
I'm sorry, I was talking to Josh.
In terms of accumulating data, whether it's math or ELA or even a language, a foreign language, you have to have, am I right or am I wrong? You have to have a base for that. You accumulate data, like All right, for example, if a company is building a test, a standardized test, the usual time for that to be validated and correlated with what they're supposed to be testing, that's 5 years. And of course, that's on a broad level, you know what I mean? But when it comes to accumulating data for this type of thing, for their individual courses, usually I would look at it over a period of a minimum of 1 quarter going into 2 quarters. Because otherwise you don't have enough information, because you're just picking out a small
Oh, yeah, no, we
period of
understand
time.
that.
You know, so that's why, I mean, it's gonna take a while. It takes a little while.
I
That's
agree.
what it is.
Josh, the funniest thing is the first class that had to meet MCAS, you know, 10th grade, they thought it was early acceptance to Harvard University, Yale, because so much emphasis was put on it that they were like, I passed it. And then the next 2 years, a year and a half, they went on a hiatus. They thought because they were told, you can't pass, you can't get your high school diploma. So they just thought it was early acceptance.
And that's where I
Right.
had the big
You were
problem
probably
with
a little bit
MCAS, is that the private schools, students who attended private schools do not have to pass the MCAS in order to get a diploma. So that was my issue with
Yeah.
MCAS,
So-
is that it wasn't equitable.
Well, it also made so that, like, you know, you've done your MCAS in your sophomore year, so,
Yeah, right.
you know, it made kids feel, again, they felt, well, I've already been accepted to Harvard now,
Right,
I've
yeah,
passed my
I'm on my way.
MCAS, so what am I doing the next 2 years, you know?
Take it easy. So I think we're all saying the same thing. We would like to see your measurements. Let's set aside the whole MCAS thing, because we agree with you. We're like, okay. So I think we, and I don't want to speak for everybody, at least myself, I'd be more comfortable if I could see that
Sure.
the data from here is better than it is reflected in the MCAS because of the way we're using it and the software that we're using it and, you know, the training that, you know, the teachers are getting so that every kid that learns differently can catch up. So at the end of the day, right, I watched the lesson plans of the teachers. They know where they need to be in the last day of school. And they're trying to get every single student to that finish line. And this is what this does. It looks at that, says, oh, whoa, Dean's got a problem here. He's not, the class took off and he's stuck over here. We need to fix that.
So that data cycle is generally run every quarter. There's a data cycle, so the teachers will choose a common assessment. So if what you're looking for, Josh, is for me to bring in like one of those common assessments with this, you know,
I'm looking for the most high-tech version of what you have access to.
it's a pretty low-tech thing though. It's students doing a written test and then us drawing conclusions from it. So I don't.
Assessment along the way is great.
Mhm.
Student grades along the way is great. The MCAS thing is kind of overarching for this particular quest because, like you said, people are taking it serious.
Mhm.
And we get that.
Some kids don't test
But-
well, it's
But
not.
the kids are getting grades every quarter, right?
Mhm.
Kids are
Kids are taking tests all the time, so there has to be some record of being able to chart it out and see it. And so that's just gonna tell the story better.
If I could just add, but I think, and Josh, you can feel free to jump in, but I think what we're asking for is a sense of urgency. I think, looking at, like, okay, I get it, like, across the board, like, what we're saying about students maybe not taking it as seriously. You look at state, state math scores for 10th graders has gone down. Back in 2021, it was at 52%. These are students exceeding or meeting expectations in math. 52% was the state average, and it's gone down to 45. We've gone from 44 to 24 in a matter of that same time frame. That's where I feel like I would like to understand this a bit more and understand where we are getting our data from. I feel like it's just, we're kind of making assumptions here, but then there's when we look at state data and everybody's kind of in the same boat, trying to understand the differences there.
Yeah, we crashed on the messaging on MCAS. We absolutely crashed on it. We went way too far towards don't worry about it, guys. But that same set of data that you're looking at also says that like we have way more kids taking AP calculus. So which one's the real story? Which one's the accurate data? Do we have more students achieving higher levels of math, or do we have everybody?
Well,
plummeting in math. And those would be the same students. The students getting, exceeding on the math MCAS are your population for advanced coursework. So
But are you talking to significant populations? We can have some kids really excelling, but we also have a really high special ed population, and is that skewing numbers, unfortunately,
Right.
for a population?
And my
And
original
also the kids
request
in the
was.
middle that also
Right,
gets
right,
squeezed out a lot
right.
of times. We want to see that they're.
yeah, we'll
He's in
get
the
to the
grocery
data.
business, right? They gotta move product out the doors.
Mhm.
Product's not moving out the door.
Yeah.
They're gonna have a serious conversation with the distributor or you gotta get that off the shelf, we're not selling it. They can tell you by the minute how many cans of tuna fish they sold, by the minute.
I bet you
So-
know. I bet you know very well.
Of course he
I'm in
does.
HR, I'm not in merchandise.
Yes. You know the business. And so I think that's what we're looking for is, forget the MCAS for 1 second. We care about all kids, not just the kids that go to the big schools and the kids that do really well on the math when it comes to MCAS. We're looking at, if Johnny's got something he's not catching up, that the diagnostic, the software that we use, the teaching that we train people for, is gonna come back and get that kid and whatever it is, so that can catch up, or at least do better so that we close the gap. And so the data from this should tell us that story of where every kid is, a snapshot of where that student is, and how they're accelerating, to the end, because the last thing you want is in June, mother finds out, parents think they're getting ready for graduation, and they're like, I don't know, I went to teacher parent conference and things look pretty good. What happened, so we agree with you. The emphasis on the MCAS is sort of a sidebar, not the worst thing that's ever happened. But I think we're with you on this stuff. This stuff's like critical. Now
I hope so. I hope there's no doubt that we were doing this work and that there isn't a sense of urgency. Because I feel we're very urgent about what we're trying to do.
Can I just add to, Sam, let me just add to Greg's point, because he said that I could steer him in the right direction. Sure, moving on. I was asking for the 10th grade assessment to see if that product needed to be replaced. Not if 2 years down the road, they're in an AP class.
But if that 10th grade product is not good, we don't get to the other place.
Great, but that's the analysis I was looking for. Because I wanted to see the grades, once kids got to 10th grade, full. Because the stories that we're hearing, the reports that we're getting, is that kids don't do well when they get to the 10th grade coursework. And the simple question was, is that because of the material that we bought? Is it something that the product that we bought, if we're using it and it stinks, do we need another one? That was my original request.
I don't know that there's that significant of a drop-off either, or that there is a drop-off.
And I don't know either, because I haven't seen the data.
Hmm?
That's my question.
Yeah.
That's my question.
This is where I'm leading into, you have grades.
Mhm.
Every quarter there are grades. So I think this is what, we're talking about.
Just simple stuff.
Can you just,
Yeah,
yeah,
grades.
sure, yeah,
And
so
unit
just look at the
assessments.
grades
Sure.
and say, okay, algebra, what, look at each quarter.
You have it,
Grade,
you know.
and compare that to each class, and then compare it to, I think that's what we're talking.
Thank you.
I mean, I'm excited to see the technology that's out there today, because I probably wasn't, I was eager on some things to learn. When I found something I was really excited about, and the things that I wasn't, I wasn't as motivated on, but I'm excited about the technology that we have today, because I think it really is an equalizer. It gives every student a chance, regardless of the language, how they learn, it really does. It's the best chance that a student has, to reach the same level as another student. Because we have tools we never had before, right? I mean, we understand that.
Right.
And
There's a different expectation of what you need to do to be an informed and educated citizen in 2025 than 1950. So it
Even
requires
just look
different curriculum
amongst
to
our
get there.
schools, we have elementary, show your work, show your work, show your work, and then like high school, boop, done.
We have two different methods.
Doreen, is this like the
Not just-
HOTS, remember the HOTS program we had?
Yes.
It is. The high order thinking skills, we were doing HOTS. That was like 10 years ago.
Yeah, I remember.
Well, it's
That
hard.
was like 30 years ago.
Want
Want to bet? I was in it. I was in it.
Sandy just started teaching 10 years
I
ago.
know.
She just got out of college. I remember it well. So we're on the same page. we're on the same page. I think we just need to see the numbers, so we know we're pushing it. You know, years ago when we picked that, you know, every kid reading at third grade
Yes.
level, we're like, let's just pick, the worst thing that can happen is every kid is at third grade, because if the kid's in the 4th and the 5th, he's not reading at third grade level. You just lost that kid. 90% chance you lost him, so we took something like that and said, will it work? And I think we had everybody pushing in the same direction, and we had pretty good results.
We did.
Results. So, that's all. I think we agree. I think let's look at how this matches with the data that you have. Just as a starting point, nothing critical, but just let's see it, so we can kind of get a feel for it.
So the other thing I just want to caution is like, last year's 10th grade is not the same as
No,
this year's
right,
10th
right,
grade.
right.
So just to make sure that people are aware that we're comparing.
But it's something.
Yeah, but you want to know if the people's last year 9th grade and this year's 10th grade have made, continue on the same trajectory is what you need to know.
We'll have a better understanding of if this product is good or not. And that's it. And we're never gonna know unless I see that great grades. You're never gonna see it. You can't work it out. You can't look at it like we would analyze anything else in this district. We will never have a great understanding of it. That was simple as straightforward result.
And I apologize if I did not, didn't get to that place.
No.
I do know that there's so much more happening, especially with the high school and these PLCs, and they are doing rich work with this data. And Josh has got the schedule set so that the right people are at the right table all the time. And so I think my mistake was not bringing some of that level data and trying to bring something a little bit bigger. So certainly will, Josh.
And no reason to apologize, and not to take away from all of the good work that's being done. That wasn't my purpose, my focus at all. It literally, it's just the one thing. Because we should be able to look back and pull up data on one thing to see if this is gonna be in real time, how it's going. Right? People are watching, they're gonna wanna know. We wanna know too.
All right.
You did a lot of work, I mean,
Yeah,
this
you're
is
on the same
excellent.
team. We agree with
It's
you.
just a different approach to analyzing stuff. Thank you. Thank you.
Excuse me, but CAPS is
I know.
been announcing it since the
Beginning.
first item on the agenda.
I was so excited.
CAPS collaborative.
Caps collaborative.
Board of Directors meeting, we have
Okay,
the
do I- I don't
agenda
know,
in
do I
front of
need
us.
Do I need that?
Yeah.
I do.
Yes.
Yeah, all right.
You're not gonna read the whole thing, are you?
No, I am not.
Oh, thank you.
Yes.
You can if you want.
She can't be loud enough, so she needs a microphone.
Yeah.
based on this, they made $1.1 million.
There's a little more. A little bit more. Thank you.
Okay. All right, so you can see the agenda, you can all read, and the biggest part of the presentation, it was a Zoom meeting, was the finances. But you have the new hires, you have resignations, and then they were fortunate enough to actually hire a couple of ALS, the sign language, ASL. And then you get into the auditor's report. He said that they were doing well, so whatever we're contributing is going to good sources. On pages 6 and 7, they have the breakdown of what they're spending, and so far doing well. The general budget, the projected budget for next year, the activities, again, the positions, and the funding they get, that's on page 13 from the government. And then there's a lot of that. You can see that, pages and pages and pages. But the bottom line is that the auditor said that they're in very good shape. And the big announcement was that it looks as if that new building on Mechanic Street, December. They're looking to open in December, and that should be pretty exciting because that's their adult program.
Fine.
Yeah, Mechanic Street, yeah, they're over by
Crossroads.
Crossroads, yeah.
That's where my
Yeah.
office used to be.
Yeah, so, that's pretty much it.
For so long, we didn't have adult programs. We know what happened. We get parents to come in and if their kids, students, sons, daughters turn 22 or whatever the name, that was it. Like, there's nothing you can do.
It's very difficult, Dean, because I know I'm involved with the Beacon of Hope over at, St. Anna's, and it's a wonderful program because these are adults
Yep. So this is a big step.
that are coming. It's a huge step, huge. So I think we're going to see a lot of positive movement there. So, thank you.
Thank you for agreeing to, this is really important. And it's a lot of work and it's a big budget. And well, thank you for volunteering.
Yeah, you're welcome. I enjoy going to the meetings. This was a Zoom meeting, but the entire staff there is just so positive. They're
Really
interested in
excited
knowing
about
what they do.
this project on Candy Street. I'm really excited. I went down and they're just tearing the walls.
Yeah, that's what you said.
Just couldn't wait to get going.
It's going to be a great thing.
They're gonna build like an apartment inside, so you can teach life skills and all that. It's like, finally, nah. All right. Look at us,
The minutes.
cruising. Eileen's kind of pushing me around tonight, but we're gonna get to the minutes of the meeting. We're gonna get to the minutes of the meeting, which is October 20th. Would you like to make a
I
motion?
would love to make a motion to approve the minutes from our.
And would somebody make a second?
That's a.
All right, so we have a second.
Yeah.
And are there any questions or comments? Did Ms. Chris get everything correct?
Yes.
All right, Chris, that goes part of your 1% incentive to get our names spelled correctly. All right, all in favor? Those opposed? Okay, we'll now move on to policy subcommittee meeting.
We did that this week.
All right, we take 2% away from you. Finance updates, warrants. Do we have warrants?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
All right, for the general fund, I will talk loud. Warrant number 13, $555,089.24. Warrant 14, $2,905,802.82. Warrant 15, $690,726.89. Warrant 16, $3,615,639.66. Warrant 17, $314,868.63. Warrant 18, $2,965,432.81. Warrant number 19, $116,583.14. Grants and revolving. Warrant number 13, $135,879.49. Warrant 14, $383,122.90. Warrant 15, $11,610.25. Warrant 16, $972,994.39. Warrant 17, $230,386.75. Warrant 18, $281,168.67. Warrant 19, $25,670.59. That is all.
All right, you heard the recommendation from the Chair of Finance.
Make a motion to accept the warrant like that.
All right, anyone have a second?
Sandra.
Sandy is a second. Any questions or comments? All right, all in favor? Those opposed? Thank you.
Mr. Chair, we do have a recommendation that was brought forth by Superintendent
Yes.
Desmond regarding playground. Francis Drake, it was the sentiment of the entire committee that we should allow for bid on that playground. Superintendent,
You have a
I don't know if you want
plan
to give any
for
more
it?
specifics about that.
Yeah, so, Butch has been seeking some information from state vendors around the potential cost for the project, and then also he wanted to speak to some people at the DPW around excavation. We are able to use general fund money up to $150,000, and we do have some vacancy savings in some positions that we were not able to fill. And then the remaining difference we could support through school choice funds, and we have
plenty of school choice funds if this body approves such.
Do we have an amount? I know you said.
We, based on some quotes that we've already looked at and the work that needs to be done out here to get the area ready, we would not expect to exceed more than 250,000. We may be able to do it for much less.
We are really the last school.
This is
to
the
have a
last.
playground. So if we're gonna do equity, Pine Street is beyond fast.
I like equity, I just don't like spending the money.
And is there any grant?
Thought about that when you approved the other playground.
No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, I know.
All right, well, let's wait and find, do we have to vote on it just to move forward? No, I think just get the estimates and everything and come back to us and
Then
we
we
have
vote
to
on it.
appropriate. All right.
That was it.
We have acceptance of donations, plumbing supplies. Wow. We have a donation here.
Yeah, we do. It is for $4,274.58 from Matt Kidd, who is a contractor.
Thank you.
So it includes a boiler, BTU input, fire tube, boiler, and condensing boiler with a total value.
Very nice. Motion, you want to make the motion?
Is it to be used for equipment at the school or is it to be used for
Educational.
teaching purposes?
Training.
Yeah,
Yeah.
training.
All right.
That's
Do we have a second by Ron? Okay, all in favor? Those opposed? And then we're all going on a trip.
Yeah.
Skills
Skills
USA.
USA, wonderful trip each year.
And do we have a motion to approve?
Make a motion.
All right, by Josh and then Sandy for second. All in favor? Any other obsolete equipment like 1956 shovel or something? And then lastly, not to put the superintendent on the spot, is we started a while ago talking about a school store, or like a Leominster school store. We make wonderful things, it's good social skills to learn, for our students to engage. We have a store at the high school, so the superintendent and I went down to Clark University, because they have a really good business school. And basically, I'll let her finish this off, but basically we went to them and said, we want our students to fully understand what it takes to open a business. Everything, not just, here's some space, let's fill it up with some space, here's a cash register, we're open. We really want them to understand from start to finish, raising money, what are the compliance, what's a minimum wage, what's a family medical leave act. And so anyway, we've been down a couple of times, and I think this is the beginning of something that I think is much larger. The students that we met are from all over the world. There were 2 students from India who are like at the cutting edge of artificial intelligence, which just makes me want to hang around with them every day of the week. And but they were from Germany, from all over. Anyway, superintendent, you want to just kind of.
Sure. So we were able to meet with a couple of professors as well. One who has a group of students that are potentially willing to coach some of our students around business practices and looking at financials and how to, all of the elements of how to start a business. And then there's another professor that we were working with that potentially would be able to help us offer some dual enrollment programming for our students around entrepreneurship and small business startup. And so we are speaking to both. I have a meeting scheduled with the professor who could potentially help us with some dual enrollment programming. And so potentially we would be able to support CTE students through some coaching with some graduate students, as the mayor mentioned, and then also potentially supporting students in our comprehensive high school that may have the inspiration to start a new business through entrepreneurship courses that would transfer to a college. So we're looking at meeting the needs of both students through this program, and then also growing the interest of students in both CTE and also in our comprehensive around starting this potential business that we would like to start somewhere in our downtown. So I think
But
there's
the
more to
business-
come on
Yeah.
this, right?
But I think the other thing is, and I think we both agreed, let's not just, we're gonna open in February. No, let's just do this right, so students really have an opportunity to, and they agree that there's no, you don't wanna just, this isn't a yard sale, I mean, this is a real business that's gonna register and everything. But I also see the excitement from the president and staff that I think it is an opportunity for us to really become partners in other areas of Clark. And that's the thing I think we need to do as part of our own goals when we start talking about strategic planning for the school committee is reach out to some of these other businesses. We were at International Rectifier, Superintendent and I saw it in the bulletin, right? I mean, you don't get much higher level in terms of military and government and medical work that they do. That's like 100% top secret. And our students are right in there. Not just, come in, we're gonna take you for the tour. This is like real life.
They're hired after
Exactly.
they graduate.
They're gonna hire these
Four
students.
students there that had gotten jobs there after the fact.
And when they hear what we're trying to do and what our students are capable of, they get real excited. In a selfish way, because maybe those students will go to Clark, maybe those students will open a business. One of the professors is the owner of Morningstar, right up there on Harvard Street. And he owns a couple of them, and I didn't realize that was him. And so I think there are other opportunities down the road, we'll take them one at a time. The superintendent, your team and ours, to approach other schools about, can we partner with you and make them real valuable experiences, not just,
Is there any partnership with the Chamber of Commerce with that stuff?
Yeah, well, I think we can get them involved as well. There's, what's the other group? Chet Fantozzi was big into it, SCORE. SCORE is also big into helping students with it. But there's so many different pieces to starting a business today. You need financial people, you need advertising, and there were some marketing students that were there. So sky's the limit. They're really excited. They want to come out and visit and kind of take a tour of CTVI, come downtown, see some of the businesses in town. Because it's real life for them. They're not just doing a textbook. They're actually helping somebody that's, and working with real people and students. And but anyway, I didn't want you to run into somebody from Clark and find out that we're down there eating, because the first person we met was a resident of Leominster, let us in the building. Like, hey, I'm from Leominster. Well, so nothing secret. We're just putting the feelers out to see whether they're interested. But I think after the last meeting, it's safe to say, what time did we get there? It was earlier than that. It was like 1. I left at 4. Superintendent had to leave.
I
left
think
at
as
4.
many partnerships,
Yes.
that benefit the children and the community,
Right.
that's wonderful.
So, I think the more we can get involved, and if they're excited and see that there's something in for them, that there's an incentive for them, it sounds like it's part of the curriculum or part of what they're trying to do, then but we do a lot of good things, and for us to showcase the things that are made at CTI, the level of knowledge that they have to run some of these 3D printers, I can't run it. I know what one is, I know what it'll do, but I can't run one. I can't do 90% of what those kids do at CTI and high school. Same as high school. Huh? I freely admit I have one license, that's to drive. That's it. So if you're a plumber, you got one more license, you're an educator, you got 10 more licenses than me, so. But I know a lot of people.
That's fair.
All right, anything else on the new world business?
We just need to vote on.
We do need to vote on the obsolete equipment.
I make a
Where
motion
we at?
to, with Saul on the
Oh,
list.
Yeah.
I make
I thought
a
we did
motion
vote on
to,
that.
I'll second it, approve the
Obsolete.
obsolete.
Is it going in the dumpster?
Yeah.
Can any of it be recycled, like metal?
Do we vote on it?
All in favor?
Yeah, no.
There's a whole list of things in here.
Jess, motion,
Yes.
seconded, Sarah?
Yes, no, she said the first, I did the second,
All right,
I didn't do
good.
both.
Good. All right, we're on business.
It's the doorbell. Anything on the new business
I just
or what?
wanna say under new, I attended the play, The Wizard of
Oh,
Oz.
goodness.
Oh my gosh, and I go to a lot of shows, it was just
3 hours.
amazing.
How they remember those lines.
And the backdrops and all of the,
Our E-wing kids are the luckiest.
And if you think about it, that's not even like 2 months.
It's a lot of work.
That's crazy.
Now the little kids just organizing 40 of those.
I was the wizard in 2009, Mr. Landry did it. I had all my lines written on my hands, my eyes. I couldn't sleep because I was up trying to remember my lines.
Started sweating and it was so.
I thought it was just gonna be the mayor, and he only has like 2 lines. Instead, I was the wizard. I'm like, the wizard? I can't remember all of this. But they did a great job. It was really done well.
Where did they get that head? Does anybody know?
I think somebody from CPI made it.
I talked to one of the crew and he said that.
A lot of times they order some of the bigger stock if it's not.
That was amazing. The whole thing.
That's crazy.
Scenery, the cast.
The young children,
Yeah.
young students,
Yeah.
and the fact that they
Oh,
can dance
God.
and sing those songs.
The lollipop,
It wasn't.
See, I remember it. And you know what? We did Friday night, Saturday matinee, Saturday night, and then a matinee on Sunday. That's a lot of work. I heard they're gonna unionize. All right, motion to adjourn. Thank you, everybody.
Please leave the lapel mic so I can.
Thought you were gonna say.